Glad you could come. This is the first annual grammar lecture for Hamakaze. As we know, Hamakaze is a very important time to remember your English grammar. Right? So we're going to talk about active and passive sentences, and we're going to talk about how that connects with your life and your Hamakaze. Now, people call me Chris, but for today, please call me Dr. English. Thank you. Yes. Okay. We have a special guest today, very exciting. Of course, Dr. English is always exciting, but we also have special guest Active Man will be joining us a little bit later in the program to sort of demonstrate a little bit about the importance of active grammar and the dangers, perhaps, of passive grammar and lifestyles. So, active and passive construction of sentences and lives. Now, when we construct our sentences and our lives, we need to think about what is it that we want. And I've done quite a lot of research at Conda. I've asked my students, what do you want? And they've told me. On the first day of class, they say, I want to be active. They say, I want to be an active learner. Furthermore, they say, I want to be active, 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 I tell you. So obviously, this is a very important thing. Now, I think they're talking about their learning style and just being sort of enthusiastic about, learning English. But we should also think about our sentence style. Are we using active grammar? This is the first question. Is your grammar active or is it passive? Now the second question is, do we remember what that means? What is active grammar? What is passive grammar? Well, let's think about it for a moment. Active sentences, we could say, are kind of the normal sentences. These are very, very common. We have a subject, we have a verb, and if we want a little extra spice, we put an object at the end. Right? For example, at Hamakaze, I ate some good food. I saw great performances. So who did it? I did. I ate. I saw. Active. Right? I learned some exciting grammar. Very important. And I decided to become a more active person. Right? Now this is active grammar and active left choices. But what about passive? Well, with passive we use the verb be and a past participle. And it looks something like this. At Hamakaze, Chris's grammar lecture was attended or was enjoyed by millions of happy quiz students. Now, I have to tell you, I made this slide last night, and I was just trying to make a guess about how many people would be here, but I think that's about right. So it was enjoyed. That's passive, right? Because the students enjoy it, but my subject is the lecture. We could also say that it was recorded for Chris's mother. I know. So, also passive. Now, this brings us to a question, though. Are these bad things, really? This is passive grammar, but maybe passive is okay. Being active, of course, is important for learning. But is it bad to be passive? Or, let's think of the grammar. What about grammar? Is it bad to use passive grammar? Let's think about that a little bit more. If we look in a grammar book like this, they will give us an example. An example like, William Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. It's an active sentence. Okay, who wrote it? William Shakespeare. Right. That's active. What if we say Hamlet was written by William Shakespeare? That's passive. It's also very boring. Let's try another example. Dr. English, that's me, invited Active Man to join him for the Hamakaze grammar lecture. He will be joining us very soon. Do you guys know Active Man? Have you? He's a superhero, kind of a grammar superhero, language superhero. And that's kind of why I told him my name is Dr. English. He doesn't talk to kind of normal people. So today we're superheroes, all right? Dr. English, you guys are the Super Language League. So when he comes out here, just maybe put on your funny costumes so he doesn't mind, okay? So in this sentence, it's active. Dr. English invited Active Man. But if we want to put more emphasis on Active Man is coming, we can change it. Active Man was invited. And now the subject of my sentence is the most exciting part. It's passive grammar, but maybe that's okay. Another thing about Active Man, I should tell you, really nice guy. I wanted to pay him some money. I had 500 yen, and I said, he didn't want it. He said, no, Chris, I don't want any money. The only thing I want is a donut. From Balcone. He has been here before. He knows that Balcone has very, very good donuts. So, we could say, Active Man requested a donut for the Hamakaze grammar lecture. That's fine. And of course, it's very important. We want to get this donut. It's the only payment he asked for. Surely we can do it. And actually, we have a donut right here, so don't worry. We could make it passive, though. If we want it to be kind of a secret. Active Man is here, but don't We could say a donut was requested. For active man. Don't tell anyone. Right? So passive can help us sort of change the focus a little bit. And then, well, we could even use this donut as an example. Because we could say someone made this donut, or I'm sorry, can you hear me okay? Yeah. Could you clap once if you can hear me? Right, so, does anybody have a donut? Okay, well, we don't have to let my donut problem ruin the Hamakaze grammar lecture, right? So let's continue with the grammar lesson. So we could say, let's make a sentence out of this, right? So my name is Chris, and what happened to the donut? Right? Fall or drop, right? Yeah. And then, well, it's a donut, right? So we could put that together, and we could say Chris dropped the donuts, or Chris dropped active man's donut. I gotta be honest, I don't like these sentences very much at all. Active man is he's not gonna be happy with me about that donut. So, well, let's use passive to get out of trouble, right? So let's see, drop is our verb still, but we're gonna use be plus the verb, and so we say was dropped, right? And so can you guys give me a sentence with was dropped? The donut was dropped. Stop. Some people say by Chris, but we don't need to say that. Right? It's extra information. Nobody needs to know. So the donut was dropped. And actually, this brings me to another point about active and passive. Sometimes passive is bad. Now here it's kind of good because it's helping me escape from trouble if you don't tell active man. But it's bad news about the donut. And so when we have bad news with passive, we often use get. The donut got dropped. More examples like that. His bike was stolen? Yeah. Or his bike got stolen. Did you know that? Very common to use get for negative passive. Passive Peterson was hit by a car, or passive Peterson got hit by a car. Do you guys know passive Peterson? He works with active man at the language laboratory. He's not very active. He's, yeah, kind of passive actually. And I don't think he can come today, but active man, we hope. More examples. The game got canceled. The dog got injured. Bad things. Passive, but with get to show that it's bad. More, Bob got hurt, Tom got robbed, Sam got attacked, Dan got killed, and Bill got married. And that's kind of a joke, actually, just kidding to my wife, obviously. But it's true, we do use get for bad things. I don't know why we use get with marriage, because obviously marriage is a wonderful... Excuse me. Okay, sorry guys, excuse me for just a moment here. Let me see if I can get a connection to my computer telephone here. Yeah, maybe? That's active, man.
Hello, Dr. English, Super Language League. Are you out there?
Yeah, we're right here, active man. What's wrong? Are you okay?
I don't know how much longer I'll be able to communicate with you before they come back. If they find me here, I could be in even bigger trouble.
Aren't you supposed to be in the language laboratory with Passive Peterson?
I was in the language laboratory, and Passive Peterson was there too. But this morning, Passive Peterson was visited by a strange man.
What happened?
He was asked a few questions.
Had Peterson invited this man?
I don't think Peterson had invited him. Passive Peterson never really does anything. Things always happen to him, you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure. So what happened?
He was asked to go outside for a few minutes.
He didn't agree, did he?
I guess he agreed. He didn't act like he had any choice. He's always so passive about everything. He never takes control of anything.
So what happened next?
He was brought outside, and then he was hit on the head.
Great Scott.
After that, he was put into the back of a car, and he was taken away.
What about you, active man? What did you do?
I followed them. When they stopped, I ran after them. I tried to rescue Passive Peterson. I followed them inside a building, and I slipped down the stairs, and I hit my head.
Oh, active man.
When I woke up, I was in the basement. I found this television equipment, and I contacted you.
Well, that was good. Now tell us where you are, and we'll all come help you.
I don't have any more time. I sent a message to Adja Claus. He'll be able to help.
Yeah, but if you don't tell us where you are, we can't do anything. We want to come help Active Man. We're being active this weekend. Well, sorry about that. I guess Active Man won't be joining us today. But the good news is that he did share a little bit of his active grammar with us. Now, let's just think about what was said here. We heard about Passive Peterson and Active Man. For Passive Peterson, he used a lot of passive. Passive Peterson was visited. Did you notice that's kind of a passive sentence for Passive Peterson? He was visited by a strange man. He was brought outside. He was hit on the head. He was put into the back of a car, and he was taken away. Clearly, passive grammar can get you into some trouble here, I think, is the important lesson to learn here. But what about Active Man? Well, Active Man followed them. He ran. He tried to rescue Passive Peterson. Yes, he hit himself on the head, but he recovered. And then he found the television equipment, and he contacted us. So, what do we have here? We have clear examples of a passive lifestyle and an active lifestyle, and I think you can see which choice we want to make. The lesson: it's okay to be passive in your grammar, but if it becomes too much of a part of your personality, you could be in trouble. When you do the things that are important to you, don't be passive. You could get hurt. You get it? Get hurt. Passive sentence right there. Get hurt. Right. Be active. Figure out what you need to do to accomplish your goal and do it. Thank you.
Where's the offering? Just close.